With us today, we have a very, very special guest. His name is Michael Vickers. He has been a speaker and author, setting up companies across North America and the United States and in Canada for a training. It's called the Summit, right? And it is a phenomenal training company. He trains real estate professionals. He trains entrepreneurs outside of the real estate industry as well, salespeople. For over 20 years, he's been doing this. And it was about, not quite 20 years ago, about 15 years ago, I first met Michael in Newfoundland at a Royal LePage party, so you know how that went. And then it was, from there, it was even before Royal LePage, my first sales meeting I ever did. My dad, who had to learn out, but he brought me in, and my first sales meeting to cut my teeth on stuff, I presented on Michael's first book that he wrote, Becoming Preferred. And so it kind of goes way back. And he's a phenomenal guy. I've had a chance to talk to him now a bunch and just keeps blowing my mind with new nuggets of information. I think you're really, really going to enjoy him. So I apologize for screwing up your formal intro, but I hope that sufficed. So give him a warm Royal LePage Prime welcome, Michael Vickers.
Awesome. Thanks, man. That was good. All right. Well, hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Show of hands, how many are actually in the room? That's not a dumb question. Okay, good. You know, Michael mentioned in the introduction, I actually did meet him about, at least 15 years ago. And I remember him coming up to me, and he was with his dad, and he was so excited. He seemed pretty young back then. And he said, you know, I said, well, you're a little young to get into the business. And he goes, I want you to know I've been shaving now for 2 years. And I went, wow. And he says, and I haven't cut myself either time. And so he's really to see the beard come in nicely and doing such a good job. As Michael mentioned in the introduction, I actually have a chance talk to professionals most days of the week. The one thing I've learned, unless you have something in common with your audience, you're going to fold your arms and go, what the hell do you know about our business? And are we just wasting our time here for the next 70 minutes or so? So I've learned that the more you have in common with your audience, the better the experience. Wouldn't you agree with that? If you have something, you went to school with them, you play on the same team, maybe you played hockey together or soccer, whatever the case is, if you're neighbors, the more commonality, the better the experience. And so I've learned to find that quickly, and this works for you as realtors as you work with your clients. And the way I do it is by asking questions. So I've developed a couple of questions that I'm going to ask you. I want you to just be honest with your responses, all in a hopes to find common ground so I can build a relationship quickly. Show of hands, how many of you ever get depressed? All right, we have that in common. How many of you get frustrated with your lives? Lives, not wives, lives, good. Okay. How many of you have a significant other, a spouse, a partner, a dog, a cat? Yeah, it's usually hand in hand with the frustration question, so it's good, congruent group. Last question, how many of you have too much month at the end of the money? Relate? All right, well, we got a few of you in here. Well, let me tell you what I'm not. I'm not an expert at what you do. I don't do what you do. I'd read your books, come to your seminar. So I can't come here and say, here's how you do what you do better. You guys are the gurus of what you do, and I recognize you as such. So why am I here? Well, I'm here because I represent your marketplace, your customers, your clients. We understand your marketplace. We interview them. We ask the customers, why do you buy? What makes them choose? What makes them pick CIBC as our mortgage specialist versus a BMO or RBC or TD? What makes us pick Royal LePage versus Remax or Century 21? And we want to know what goes into the decision process. And how do we influence that? How do we stack that deck? So I'm here today to speak to you from that perspective. So I'm a customer, I'm a client. So I'm going to be coming to you from those insights and sharing those with you. And hopefully you find a few things that will help you in the process. I'll give you a quick tour. 1980, well, first of all, I got to show you. I grew up in Winnipeg, and this was my house when I don't want to tell you the year, but it was 1967. And that's where I lived. That's 501 Conway. I took that off of Google yesterday because my pictures are all black and white. So right next to the Civic Center. Then we moved from here, and I moved next door to, well, 3 doors down to a boy band that was just starting. There's a little guy by the name of Burton Cummings, had some pretty good chops, and Randy Bachman, and some of you remember, some of the older guys in here know who I'm talking about, Beat over in St. James. And Winnipeg was a good spot for me. So it kind of was home. That was our starting point. My dad was in the service, so we did a lot of traveling. But in 1980, I was going to be a doctor. And he said to me, he goes, hey, if you're going to go to med school, you're going to have to pay for it yourself because I'm on an Air Force salary and we can't do it. So in 1980, went to my banker and I borrowed $75,000 and I opened up a video store. Now in 1980, we didn't have video stores. Some of you weren't even born in 1980. Anyone born, I don't even want to ask. But in those days, you bought memberships. Does anybody remember you paid $50 for like an annual membership? $125 for a lifetime membership? I apologize if any of you bought the lifetime membership. Now, it was a good concept, it was a good deal. 3 months went by, I sold 2,000 memberships. Well, you do the math. I went back to the bank and I said, here's your money back, bankers, thank you. And the banker looked at me and said, 3 months, you got 3 more years with this money, why don't you go do it again? I thought good advice from a banker, so I said, well, thanks, Frank. I went and did it again. 3 months later, I had the same results. 3 months later, same results. Every 3 months, I kept getting the same results, paying cash for a business. Now, was that because I was a rocket scientist or I was in the right place at the right time? I was a rocket scientist. Thank you very much for that little vote of confidence. Okay, you're lucky in your business, too. Can timing have an impact on your business, yes or no? Here's the truth. If you'd have done what I did when I did it, you'd have the same results. No brainer. Have you been experiencing some positive timing lately? Let's go back 18 months BC, before COVID, and you look at that last 18 months and where we've done, you just had to own have a listing and your property value went up. How tough is that? You're like me in the video business, right place, right time. The way you tell whether you're good or not is when the market's contracting. Can you now go take some of that pie from somebody else, and you have to have the stomach for it. I run into professionals all the time and they go, we just want our fair share. No, that's like way too Canadian, right? Fair share is all about perceptions, and we'll talk all about it. But let's start this way, and we'll kind of have some fun with it. It's really about your brand experience. Royal LePage has a great brand. You have a good brand. Your brand's recognizable. CIBC, your brand's good. Your new logo change, everything looks good. Brand equity goes a long way. It gets you to the table. You have 25% market share, give or take, right? Your competitors would probably be Remax, your number one competitor here, and then you got everybody else, Century 21. They're all good brands. Brand goes to the trust factor, but it's much more than brand. Starbucks, do they make good coffee? Any Starbucks drinkers here? Raise your hand, you can. Me too, I'm a Starbucks, so I have an app for that. Now in Canada, you're either rolling up the rim to win, right, or you go to Starbucks. Now, if we secretly replace the coffee, if we went to, Tim's and we took the coffee and we replaced it with Starbucks and we interviewed the Starbucks people and they're really drinking Tim's coffee and we go, how's the coffee? What do you like? Is it better than Tim's? What are they going to tell us? They tell us, yeah, it's true. We did it with Second Cup, we know. If we go to the Tim's people and say, how do you like this new special mountain blend? Oh, it's very, very good. It's all about perceptions. It's all about perceptions, that's it. And so the magic of Starbucks is not the coffee. They created what we call the third place. Home, office, Starbucks. I don't want to go home. I don't want to go to the office. Let's meet at Starbucks. And now how they do it, and this is important, this as realtors, this is huge, they employ all 5 senses in their offering. Sight, sound, smell, taste, feel. Walk into a Starbucks, what's the lighting look like, good or bad? It's kind of incandescent lighting. Ladies, is lighting important, yes or no? You put your makeup on according to your lighting. You have these mirrors with, too smoky. You can adjust things, right? Anyone see the Seinfeld episode where his girlfriend's in different lighting conditions and they used it and she was pretty, not so pretty, not so pretty. All based on lighting, right? Sound, you can buy the music that's playing. It smells good, it tastes good, whatever you're having, and it feels good. So here's the lesson for us as professionals. The more senses you employ in your offering, the better the experience. They don't know why it's better, they just feel better. I don't want it in a styrofoam cup. I want a mug. I want a better experience. And that's the magic of Starbucks. Now, and I love Starbucks. I never want to be without it. If I get to a hotel, you know how people steal towels or soap? I steal Starbucks. I do. I'll take everything in the room, all the little cups, whatever there is. If I get to the elevator and the service cart's there and they're in servicing another room, I'll take the whole box and make a dash for it because I never want to be without my stash, right? But that's just how it is. It's all about our perceptions. Now, Harley Davidson. That logo, we call, any Harley riders in here? I know we got a few of them. Yeah, good. You guys get an A in the class right away. We call it a love mark. A love mark because people will tattoo that logo to their body. What if Royal LePage logo was a love mark? You show him, Mike, he's got a Gramp stamp right back here. It's like right about. What if it was a love mark? Frank, that could be something you could offer everybody if they get the CIBC little logo. You could pay for it. Does Harley make good motorcycles, yes or no? If they made airplanes, though, would you fly on it? Yeah, maybe if it came with parachute, right? Harley's not about the motorcycle. They created what we call rebel lifestyle. They created an opportunity for a middle-aged Canadian to dress up in leathers, ride through small towns, and have people be afraid of them. And we pay $38,000 plus for the privilege, right? That's the privilege. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, what's our brand experience? So you're having one whether you like it or not. When I come and meet with you, We'll bring you up. When I come and meet with you, I'm having an experience. Now, we've got some beautiful collateral material. You got great listing presentation stuff. We've got good stuff, from our finance partners and CIBC. We've all really good stuff, but it's the experience that matters. If I'm dealing with an advisor that's just doing a bad job, I'm judging CIBC by that experience. If you're treating me badly, I'm going to judge Royal LePage by that experience. So how do you dictate, how do you design the experience? Now, I can't make your rates better. I can't make your signage better. I can't make your brochures better. But I'm here to show you some ways to make the experience better. And if I'm going to come and compete in your marketplace, I'm going to beat you on the experience because I can't beat you on anything else. So what goes into the experience? And we'll talk about that. So we need to say no, first of all, to imitation. Here's what I mean by that. I asked professionals, I was literally in the last week and a half, I've been in Cancun, Mexico. I've been in Las Vegas, been here, a couple different places. Kind of tough getting here this time of year and things. And I ask audiences everywhere, I said, who's amazing at what they do? And guess how many times they put their hand up and go, my realtor or my mortgage specialist? Guess how many times I've heard that literally in 25, 30 years? Guess how many? 0. I've never heard it, ever. Now, don't shoot the messenger. I think there's good news here. I think it's up for grabs. If I said to you, airline, give me an airline that's amazing, everybody loves, who would you tell me? Yeah, we get WestJet, we get JetBlue, we get Southwest, computer company, we get Apple, we get Lexus. Every category has amazing, but except in our category, we just don't have amazing. Now, do we have some amazing? Of course we do, all right? But we want it to where people speak out for you. They're advocating for you. So don't be like anyone else. Be just like you. Now, I have a theory of why this is true. Show of hands. How many of you wanted to be a realtor ever since you were a kid? Okay, we'll get you guys some help. Like, this is good. Well, it's we're all right there. But it's kind of like, what's your first name? Denny. Oh, that's right. We met. So, hey, Denny. So if I said to you, hey, Denny, you're 8 years old. What do you want to be when you grow up? And he goes, I want to be a realtor for Royal LePage. We'd be going, we'll get you some help, son. But I think you're in the right place. And the reason I think you're in the right place is because you're here. Otherwise, you'd be there. Whatever that was going to be, right? But life, we all went down. Maybe it was I was going to be a doctor, and all of a sudden life path changes, and now I do this, and right? Who knew? English was my toughest subject, and now I write books. My English teachers, we're all surprised. But that's the point. Don't be like anyone else. To grow then, companies, realtors, banks, we need to break out of our vicious cycle of competitive benchmarking and imitation. You come out with a new rate, TD comes out with a new rate. BMO matches a new rate. They can do this, you come out with this. They get this program, they get that program. Remax comes out with the program, Century 21, Coldwell Banker comes out with the program. We come out with the program. We lead, sometimes we're leading, sometimes we're following. You following me? That, you can't help you. I can't help you with that. Corporate's always going to do that, but you don't have to. So you do not merely want to be the best of the best, you want to be considered the only ones who do what you do. Will we pay a premium for things that are unique, rare, and precious? Will we pay a premium for it? Yeah, you're seeing it now in the marketplace. They're paying over asking price, half the time. The marketplace will reward you. So that's what we should try and do, is become distinctive. So experiences then are distinct from services as services are from goods. So here's how it kind of worked out. We call it the experience ladder. We had property. And once we had property, we had raw materials, we built houses. And so we had things and we sold stuff. This is how it all developed. Back in the turn of the century, this was the big grain exchange. Remember, Winnipeg was, besides Winnie the Pooh, we were the business center of the universe here in Canada, and with the railroads and everything else. Then we came out with services when you guys got invented as an organization. And now where do we live today? We live in the experience economy. It's all about the experience. Experience trumps service. It trumps the service. Everything's equal. I'm going to choose the best experience instead of the best service. Why not? Got to do it anyway. So if my process is difficult, that's a bad experience. If it's a good experience, I'm going to judge it. And you're all part of that experience economy. That's what people are paying for. So our goal then, and the reason we want to do this, is to become the preferred provider of what we do. Preferred means first choice. You're the emotional favorite. You're the one that they call first. Now, Earl's Restaurants. You guys got Earl's around here. And Earl's in October, and it's coming up, well, this month, their pumpkin pie. You have to go have their pumpkin pie. Now, I had a bunch of my daughters work for, Earl's. They were servers and hostesses, so they helped pay through college and do that thing. But their pumpkin pie shouldn't be called pumpkin pie. If I said, hey, do you want some pumpkin pie? You might go, yeah, I don't really like pumpkin pie. And I'm a rhubarb pie guy, so I'd say no. But if I said this to you, would you like some heavenly pie? And you go, what's heavenly pie? You got to taste this. Earl's pie is heavenly pie. It's this thick, it's creamy, it's pumpkin-y, obviously, but it's absolutely amazing. I always call ahead and make sure that there's a piece for me because it goes fast. We get to the restaurant, server comes up and said, "Sir, would you like some of our featured pumpkin pie?" And I go, "Yeah, there's a big piece in the back with my name on it." "And ma'am, what would you like?" "Well, I'll just have a bite of his." No, you won't. Whatever comes like a perfect portion. One bite less and I feel ripped off. That's like me saying to you, "Hey, Denny, mind if I have a sip of your beer?" You just don't do that, right? You get your own piece of pie and I'll finish what you don't finish, right? You've got to learn to protect your pie, your turf. And when the market's expanding like it's been expanding for the last 18 months, you just got to get a listing and you're going to get an offer if it's listed correctly. How tough is that? That's order taking. What you want to prepare for is what's coming up. If you've been in this business long enough, you know as well as I do, it doesn't, and this too shall pass, goes for good times and bad times. And so if times get tough, you don't care. You know, in our marketplace in Winnipeg, the old 80-20 rule is really true. It's actually 81%, 19. That means 19% of the realtors are getting over 81% of the deals. So I don't know who you are. I don't know who all the top performers are. Some of you are in it. It might be you're just dabbling. You got your foot in the water, trying it out. Some of you are going, maybe there's a career here, maybe it's not. What if it was a destination choice? What if you decided, hey, I'm going to be a realtor and I'm going to be a professional one and do what it takes to be professional? It's a great opportunity. So you know who you are, but let me give you some tools to help you. The goal then is to become number one preferred in your market. We've got to challenge our assumptions about our clients, our customers, the marketplace. If our assumptions are wrong, our results are going to be devastating. Do we make assumptions, yes or no? Isn't that our nature? When I started speaking to you the first 5 minutes, you guys are making a judgment call. That's okay, I'm looking at you making a call too, so we're even. But don't we do that? That's kind of our nature. If you were raised as a woman or a man, you see the world a certain way. If you were raised black or brown or white, you see the world a certain way. All good perspectives. What I'm here to do is challenge some of those perspectives, though. Now, when you challenge things, sometimes people get cranky. Don't go shooting the messenger. Go back and do it your way if you want to go do it your way. But I do want to push you a little bit. I do want you to think about things just a little bit. That's my job. So I will be challenging some assumptions. People, customers, the Vickers family, we make our decisions to purchase a home from you, get a mortgage from you with emotion and logic. Emotion first, back it up with logic second. Every major decision is done emotionally. Every major one. We'll do the homework with our heads, but we pull the triggers with our heart. If I don't like you, it's not going to happen. If I don't like you, we're done. We're done already. Here's the question we have to ask ourselves. How are you selling? How are you servicing emotionally or logically? How are you doing it? Denny, how are you doing it? Both? How are you doing it? Emotionally or logically? We're going to test it. We're going to test my little theory. I think you've all been sucked into the logic vortex. Here's where you shoot the messenger. You've been sucked into the logic. We've been so busy with transactions that we sometimes forget about it. I'll test my theory here in just a minute, but I'm going to help you to remember that it's really an emotional decision, and if you can identify those emotional triggers and activate them, it's huge. You'll become preferred in your marketplace. So number 5, our customers are stressed out. Our clients are stressed out. Is that true, yes or no? Are we stressed out as Canadians? We got the whole COVID thing, we have a mask thing on, mask thing off. My wife and I have 5 well-adjusted children. Out of 7, that's pretty good. I think that's good. No, we have 7 awesome kids, 2 boys, 5 girls. I know I have 5 daughters, right? And they're all beautiful. So when you have beautiful daughters, you get boys hanging around or whatever. So I'm really good with a 12 gauge. It's all good. But stress out. We have college. We had weddings on the day of our daughter's wedding just a couple weeks ago. The new mask mandate came out that day. I mean, it's just been a nightmare for everybody. That's just our stress. All right, what about your stress? What about your stress? Mine's not better than yours. Yours isn't better than mine, but we each have it. Don't we each have our own stress? You may have lost family members. I was a speaker. I'm a speaker. Imagine March the 20th. Get this. March the 20th, and all of a sudden COVID and the world shuts down. Guess what happened to all the speaking gigs for the next year and a half? So imagine waking up one morning and you can't sell a house anymore or do a mortgage. Just imagine that one. That was my world, right? But we were able to pivot successfully. But that's just what then I worked for several of Warren Buffett's companies, and I had a whole bunch of airline stock. And the airlines plummeted 60%. I'm going to start crying right now. But that's just the way it is. Life's like that. It's monopoly, right? Sometimes you're on boardwalk, sometimes you're free parking, sometimes you go to jail. That's the way that it works. We're all stressed, right? But here's the magic. If you'll learn to identify the stress of your marketplace better than the competition, better than RE/MAX, remove the stress better than all of them, right? Make it go away, and connect in a meaningful way, you'll become preferred. All about connection. This is why the internet's so powerful. I love the internet. I think it's awesome. Anyone have kids? Anyone have kids? I'm taking my boys to school. This is the conversation. Hey, how's it going? Good. What's going on? Nothing. You doing fine? Yep. I said to my wife, when did they learn sentences? When did the paragraphs show up? You know, with the internet, man, I creep their Facebook pages. I'm looking at Instagram. I can text them. I know what they're going on. It's the mall. In my generation, we went to the mall. You know, you go to Polo Park or something. You went to the mall. That's where you've been seen. Now they go to things and it's click, click, selfies, just to show that I'm there. I text them. I have ongoing messages. I don't even want to talk to them all the time. We have some that'll phone us, and my wife and I do paper, rock, scissors to see who answers the phone. It's like, I don't want to deal with everything, but texting is really, really, really simple. Now, it's also a great disciplinary tool. If I get some attitude from the girls, I just go, I'm not liking your attitude. I pay for this cell phone. I'm logging you off, and I'm going to take your phone for a week until further notice, until this attitude changes. They freak out. They call Child Protective Services. They go, my dad just took my phone away and logged me off. We'll send a car immediately. It's like the new child abuse, right? And so, but it's all about connection. Why do we want to connect? What's the point of connection? It's about relationships. And this is what's so social about your social media. It's all about relationships. So I have a formula for that, and it works this way. I believe that trust is the foundation of all relationships. Would you agree? Can we have a relationship without trust? You can, but you'll always lose to one where trust exists. You'll always lose to one where trust exists. Now, at the foundation, we have trust. Now, you've heard high touch, and in your brochure, Michael's talked about it. We have high touch marketing, and we have what we call high task. There's two elements to it. High task is the logic side of the equation. High touch is the emotional side of the equation. One's driven by the company. Why is Royal LePage in business? Why is Michael in business? Why is he in business? Someone say it. Yeah, I hope that's not a surprise. Wow, make money, wow. I know it doesn't feel like that sometimes. It's like maybe he's just doing it for the love of humanity. It's his way of giving back, right? Why are you busy? Why are you working? Why are you working? Make money. Is there anyone here doing it just because it's your charitable thing? It's what you do? Yeah, I didn't think so, all right? Nothing wrong with making money, provided it's a good exchange of value, right? So we have company, and then we have the customer. Now, high task is the logic side. Now, welcome to the room, group number one. Welcome to the room, Royal LePage. I've been asked as a market advocate to come and interview all the top realtors here in Winnipeg and make a recommendation. All the real estate companies are coming in one after the other. I'm going to listen to your pitch. I'm going to see why you're so wonderful. And I want to know why I should do business with you. So welcome to the room. Why should I do business with you? Why? It's going to be a great experience. Oh, quit sucking up. Okay, good. Why should I do business with you? Is what?
Amazing service.
Amazing service. Why should I do business with you? Because I'm old and I know it. Because there's a song there. It's like, that's a good one. I like it. Why should I do business with you?
Because I'm in this for the relationship, the experience.
In it for the relationship. Why should I do business with you?
Trust.
Okay, trust. All good answers. I could come and ask you all of them. Question for you. Should I give amazing service? Should that be part of what we do? Yeah, shouldn't I listen to you? We're effective. We're competitive. All good answers. I kick you out of here and I bring in the RE/MAX folks. And I pose the same question. What am I going to hear? Am I going to hear the same stuff, yes or no? Century 21, Coldwell Banker. Same stuff, yes or no? So go into my head, the market, Winnipeg, customer. I'm looking at you and you almost all look the same to me. Seriously, you sound the same. Your products look the same. Your rates look the same. Your forms look the same. Your partners look the same. If a bag of rice and a bag of rice and your signs look the same, your processes look the same, your websites look the same, if the bag of rice and a bag of rice and a bag of rice all looks the same, how much do I want to pay for this? How much? Lowest price possible, because in my mind it's a what? What do we call that? A commodity. Question for you, who created the commodity monster? Who created that monster? McDonald's? Well, McDonald's, by the way, just so you know, you got to know, tell everybody this one. It needs to trend. Hashtag McDonald's. They use 100% beef in their burgers. 100%. Hair, hoof, horns, brrr, the whole cow goes into that thing, right? It's true story. What'd you learn today? Well, you won't believe it. But that's what the marketplace, they all have it. Everybody has the same. We created the commodity monster. We created it. We did. That's why we're getting 3.5%, 2.75%, 4%, split brokers. What happened to the days where it was 7% on the first 100, 3.5% on the next? And there's people in other markets that are still getting it. Some of you here get 5%. Brian, I think your average thing is like 5 points, right, or something when you're working? Oh, good. Sorry about that. But it's doable, and it's doable for a reason, so let's talk about what those reasons are. It's about the value. So high task is your core. Now, that's the logic. Now, welcome back to the room, group number 1. I want to know what you do on the emotional side. What do you do to exceed my expectations and make me go wow? All right, what do you do to make me go wow? So what do you do? What do you do to make me go wow? Yeah, keep it clean. Come on. No, you don't have to. You can go where you want. No, I can. No, what do you do to make me wow as a client? What do you do if I take you on as a realtor, what are you going to do to make me go, wow, she's amazing, this is awesome?
A lot of like communication.
Communication. What kind of communication?
A combination of it.
Okay, but you're going to communicate well. Now, what's your first name?
It's Marcia.
Marcia. Here's what I'm hearing. Deal with me, Marcia, and I'll even communicate with you. I'll use every form of communication possible, and I'll keep you in the loop and keep communicating with you. I like it. You're not wrong. But shouldn't you be doing that? Yeah or no? Shouldn't we be communicating using all the tools? So I like it. Don't change. Keep it going. But I think it's high task. I think you have to do it just to keep up. What do you do to make me go wow? Exceed my expectations. She's like, please don't pick on me. Yeah.
Just get to know them personally and really exceed their expectations.
What's your first name? Paige. Paige says something awesome. Get to know them personally and find out their expectations. Love it. Don't change. Do that. But shouldn't we be doing that? Shouldn't we get to know them? Deal with me, Paige. We'll even get to know you before we sell your house. It's a new value-added feature we have at Royal LePage. It's Mike's brainchild. We think it'll give us competitive advantage for years to come. I like it. Those are all good answers, and I could go to each one of you, and you're going to tell me, but I'm going to suggest to you they're all things we should be doing. We should be doing, right? So here's the question, and I'll give you some examples of how this works. This is going to change. What we want to do is we want to elevate the game. We're going to elevate the game. So let me share with you what I think high touch is all about. All right, don't worry about doing the stories I'm about to tell you. I want you to see the moral of the story and the principle behind the story. People come up to me afterwards and go, we can't do that story. I know this is my story. You guys get your own stories, right? But this is my story. So play came to town called Les Mis. Did anyone go see Les Mis when it was touring? Some of you may have gone to see it in Toronto. If you don't see it or watch the movie or whatever, great book, cool movie. We're at the theater, and our seats were 16 rows from center stage. So she was impressed with the seats. We get there, and the guys are in suits, and ladies in dresses. Everybody looks great. The orchestra's tuning up their instruments. You know when you go to the MTS Center or something, and maybe the Jets are playing the Leafs, and it's in the the finals, the semifinals, or Stanley Cup. We could be hypothetical here, and just excitement. Or maybe U2's playing, or Madonna, or Pink's playing. She's doing a concert, and all of a sudden you just feel the energy come up. Has everyone experienced that energy? You know the energy I'm talking about? It's like that. And at the 2-minute mark, they're flicking their lights, going, "Take your seats, take your seats." Everybody's sitting down. In walks a valet, stands at the edge of the auditorium, has some roses and Bernard Callebaut chocolates, some Belgian chocolates. Someone in the balcony goes, "Shh, shh, shh," and the whole place just quiets right down. Valet walks right up to my partner and goes, "These are compliments of Michael. Enjoy tonight's performance." What did 150 women in a 100-foot radius do? What did 150 guys in the same radius do? It wasn't safe to go to the bathroom. Now, for my wife, one of her love languages is to be, paying attention, doing little things, and just small tokens of appreciation. So she loves that kind of stuff. That's her thing. Now, the question is, some of the guys were like going, all right, this kind of sucks. But on that evening, here's the big question: who became preferred? Who became preferred? And here's the rule. If you want to write this down, take your standard service offerings and simply up-level it. Take your standard service, what do we do? And up-level it. How many touch points do you have? Look at them all. What can we up-level? What deserves to be up-leveled? I'll give you an example. Show of hands, how many of you send out thank you notes? How many hands ought to be going up? Think about it. I go to Leon's and buy furniture. I get a $40 lamp. I still get a thank you note. Buy a new car. I get a thank you note. Go to my dentist. Get a thank you note. Starbucks sends me CDs and music saying thanks all the time. I'm like, okay, they must know I use the app all the time and do whatever. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Then I deal with you, my realtor. I buy a house. I do the most significant transaction I can possibly do in my lifetime, or my kids do, and I don't get a thank you. I notice. I notice. Don't do an email thank you. Actually write it out. It's a lost art. All right? Say thank you. You should. I had a woman in a program a few months back. She put her hand up. She goes, what could we put on the thank you note? What comes to mind? You know, thanks for the business. I went, I love that. Run with that one. That's a good one. You know, say thank you. Now, let's say we want to up level the thank you. So let's say I bought a house, and what are we, the 6th today? Is it the 6th all day? Or 7th? It's the 6th, isn't it? Lose track of time. October 6th, you just sold me a house. You say thank you. Everything's gone well. Everything's done a perfect job. In 1 year, what are we going to have? In 1 year, what are we going to have? We get married. What are we going to have in 1 year? Our anniversary. We can do that now in Canada, you know. Call me. No, what? So in 1 year, we have an anniversary. What if on the anniversary of us moving the house, all of a sudden a little basket shows up? Not just on the day we move in or that warm-up gift. Now we get a little basket. Now if it's me and I'm competing with you, here's what I'm doing. I'm going to my mortgage advisor partners, and I'm going to go say, hey, Frank, here's the deal. I'm going to bring all my deals to you, but here, team, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to sell the Vickers family their house. On their anniversary, I want a basket to arrive. So once a quarter, let's all get together, and we're going to sign cards, all of us, because we're all part of the team, and I want you guys chipping in. So it might be a $100 basket. You can chip in, and on the anniversary, we'll take care of it. I'm going to cause the basket to be delivered to the Vickers family, all compliments of the team. So I'm going to have the lawyer, the title company, whoever's on there, my finance partner, and do it. That keeps it sticky, keeps them coming back, so you're partners, and you're together on the, instead of going, who's got the next best rate, or whatever it is, and move it out of the realm of transaction back into the realm of an experience. Do you see what that looks like? So take a standard service offering, simply up-level it. Let me illustrate this way. Is there anyone married here? Raise your hand if you're married. John, we'll pick on you. Stand up for a second, John. We'll pick on you for a minute. John, what's your wife's name? Laura? How long have you been married to Laura for? 5 years. Now, do you honor birthdays, Christmas, anniversary? Come on up here first so everybody can see you here. You don't need your mask. Give it up for John here, yeah. Good stuff. Do you acknowledge birthdays, Christmas, anniversaries, and things with Laura?
Absolutely.
Okay. Have you ever missed any of those?
No.
Would it be good if you did? No, we know that. It's in our genetics, DNA. Don't miss it, right? I don't know if you knew this about Laura after 5 years or not. Laura's got a point system. She has a way she keeps score. Women have a way they keep score. And we do too. Ours is just easier to figure out, right? But there's a system nonetheless. Now, Valentine's Day will be coming up in February. Do you acknowledge Valentine's Day with Laura?
Yes.
Okay. Now, let's say you spend $60 on a dozen roses. You go get a card that's prefabbed, right? We call it a statutory remembrance. We have shops everywhere. We even do the messaging for you. It's not a brainer. And you give it to Laura for Valentine's Day. Laura will go, oh, she'll even act surprised, like, oh, what's this? What a surprise this is, like it happens every year on that date. But in her head, you get 1 point. You've spent $60, you get 1 point. If you miss it, you're in the doghouse, right? Now, you know what Laura does the next day after Valentine's Day? She goes to work and she talks to her girlfriends. They compare notes. They do. I've listened to them. What'd you get? I got flowers. I got chocolates. I got lingerie. You should see what John wants me to wear. They have these conversations, right? So you're just like the rest of us, not a big deal. So we want to up-level Valentine's Day. How do we do that? Next Valentine's Day, do not spend $60 and buy a dozen roses for Laura. Instead, spend $5 and buy 1 rose. But go get a card that's blank, and you write on that card, Laura, you still look hot in those jeans, you drive me crazy, John. And you give it to her for Valentine's Day. Guess how many points he still gets? 1, but how much has he spent? You just saved $55, right? Give him a round of applause. Good job, John. Thank you. You just saved $55. Right now, what we want to do is we want to up-level it. So on the 14th of March, John, now you go get another rose. Is Laura expecting something on March 14th, yes or no? No. So now you show up, John, and you show up in front of Laura with the rose on March 14th, and you go, here, baby. And she's going to go, John, what's this? You know, sweetheart, I've been with you for 5 years. And in 5 years, I've come to the conclusion there's not one day in the year that sums up how I feel about you. Write this down. This is like good stuff. This is good. 14th of April, 14th of May, 14th of June, 14th of every month you make for Valentine's Day. I had one of my, with Genworth, I had one of my VPs, he did this. On the 17th of every month is his anniversary. He goes and buys a bottle of wine, and on the 17th he cooks dinner, pairs the wine, and they celebrate their anniversary on the 17th of every month. Not once a year, every month. Does that help you have a little more successful relationship? The points are the critical part. You want deposits that are going in to the relationship bank account. Ever have a client divorce you? Ever have someone not call you back? Ever someone said, don't want to deal with you anymore? There's no points in that relationship bank account. Take a standard service offering and simply up-level it. All right, second story. I know this logo, you'll be seeing the Flames. I think they're here tomorrow or tonight. I think they're playing, and Winnipeg's playing Friday night back in Calgary. This logo should instill the fear into the hearts of many of you. I was in the office of Ricoh Canada, the president. I'm talking to the president, and I'm looking around the room, and there's Edmonton Oiler paraphernalia everywhere. And you guys know the rivalry, Battle of Alberta. And I said to him, hey, last game of the season is between Calgary and Edmonton. Why don't you and your son be the guest of my son and I, and we'll go to a hockey game. Now, in my world, that's not a big deal. If I'm going to go schmooze you, might take you to a game, might take a client, some economic relationship, you name it. We get to the game. Second period, I get Harvey the Hound, who's the mascot for the Flames, happened to be my uncle, had him come up and have his picture taken with the little boy. Little boy's got a big grin on his face from ear to ear. Dad's grinning from ear to ear. End of the game, Dad says, hey, that was fun, thanks very much. I said, we're not done. We made arrangements to go down into the Oiler locker room. Oiler management had a hat stick and a jersey. They provided it for his son for free. I'm here in the corner with my son Scott. We're minding our own business. We're Flames fans. He's there being doted on by all the players, getting autographs and sticks and goodies. Little boy's got a grin on his face from ear to ear. Dad's grinning from ear to ear. Daddy becomes little boy's hero. Who becomes daddy's hero? Yeah, or Harvey the Hound. And by the way, my son was so impressed with that experience. That's my son, actually. For the last 20 years, he's been Harvey the Hound. So he's got a degree in sports management, and he's a furry. So proud. And that's him. I think this is his last year to retire. So ever since McTavish pulled his tongue out, that's been a thing. But the rule is simple. What can you do to become a hero to the people you serve? How do you become a hero to the Vickers family? And how do you make the Vickers family look like heroes in their world? How do you make them look heroes to their family and their extended families? If I'm in your role, how do I become a hero to my realtor? And how do I make my realtor look good to their clients? Do you see the difference? That's high touch and what it's all about. All right, let's keep moving. Here's the formula for becoming preferred. It's EV plus DV times T equals PS, and here's what it stands for. Expected value. Do I expect you to be competitive? Do I expect you to know your market? Do I expect you to be thorough with what you do and all your governance, all your what's the compliance stuff? Do I expect you to know your business? Of course I do, right? So not a big deal. You're not making me go wow when you do what you're supposed to do. Distinctive value, though, is what makes you unique, rare, or precious. Times trust. The more they trust you, the more share you'll get. The more I trust you as my financial advisors, the more you help me on the deals, get them pre-approved, the more business I'm going to give you. All right, if all of a sudden I start getting some back and it's tough, I'm going to go elsewhere. It's just the way it works, right? It's the nature of the game. So trust is the multiplier equals preferred status. Now there's 3 levels of preferred status. First one, loyalty. Look up loyalty in the dictionary. You'll see a picture of your dog. You won't see your cat because everyone knows, and cat lovers don't hate me. I'm not saying they're just not loyal. They're looking at you as a meal. When you die, they're going to eat your fingers and your nose and your ears. Google it. I'm not lying. All right, a dog will get you 2 weeks later, though. They'll wait as long as possible. But the cat, your food, right? And so, and I love cats. Don't get me wrong. Tastes like chicken, but they're not loyal. All right. Instead, you want to move them to level 2, advocacy. What does that mean? What does advocacy mean? Ever get word of mouth business? Isn't it the best? Isn't it the best? That's how I came here, word of mouth. Guess how we met in the Maritimes years ago, word of mouth. Word of mouth is the best. I love word of mouth. I love answering the phone and there's the deal. That just makes sense to me. So what goes into creating advocacy? The more something looks like a commodity, the more you add to it, the better it looks. I'll give you an example. I get in a cab in Toronto, I got to go downtown, it's $55. It's regulated, it's on the window, glass, there's how much it costs. And so it's $55. I get into the cab, the first thing the cabbie says is, sir, can I offer you some Starbucks? I got regular or decaf. And I look up on the front seat and there's an egg crate that some supermarket's missing, Velcroed to the front seat. And in the egg crate are 2 thermoses that some hotel's missing. And he even had the Starbucks stickers and the cups. And I'm like, yeah, I'll have a Starbucks, thanks so much. I'm like so happy. He goes, sir, I don't know if you've had breakfast yet or not. And holds up a basket with fruit, muffins, croissant. Grabbed a muffin, a piece of fruit. Sir, I got 3 morning papers. I haven't even left the airport yet. USA Today, Globe and Mail, Wall Street Journal. I took a USA Today, haven't seen one of those in a while. Is this guy getting a tip, yes or no? Sure. And he leaves me alone. Best cab ride ever, downtown. He goes, sir, were you happy with the service? I said, this is the best cab ride I've ever had. Like, when was the last time you talked about a cab ride? Like, unless it was creepy, right? Do you see that guy? You know, so best ride. He goes, sir, when I go to the airport, I got to line up for 2 to 3 hours for a fare. Sometimes it's 5 minutes away in Mississauga. Sometimes it's an hour away in Ajax or Whitby. Toss to the coin whether I make money that day or not. However, if you phone me, fax me, tell me, let me know when you're coming. We'll respond the same way. We'll come to the bottom of the escalator with a sign with your name on it and offer you this service each and every time you come to the GTA. And if I'm not there, my brother Hanif will be. Wouldn't you use that guy? Wouldn't you use that guy? Now, do you think he wanted to be a taxi driver ever since he was a kid? By the way, he owns one of the largest chains of fleet town cars now in the GTA, 10 years. He was in the business on purpose, with a purpose, and whoa, what a difference it makes. Not just sitting there floating around going, well, I think I might be in, maybe I'm not. I'll try this, I'm going to try that. He wasn't trying to be the best. Right? He created an experience, and people started talking about him. So when I go, I call that guy. It's what he added to the commodity that made it unique, special. Right? That's what he added to it. It's like when we do our mortgages. When we do the financing, and I know this isn't your bad, but I get a statement around renewal time, or coming up renewal time. The rest of the time, I don't hear anything. You know, I get my regular stuff, but I don't, it's like, here, deal with me. And it's kind of like, you've earned this relationship and trust. I'd love to hear from you. Don't leave me, right? Stay in my face, right? I'm okay with it. And then when they move to level 3's insistence, they insist on you. You want it to where if all of a sudden you decide to leave, they follow you. Wouldn't you agree? Management kind of hates this, by the way, as a rule. They go, what happens if we bring you in, Vickers, and you train all of our people and they get really, really good and then they leave us? And I say, well, Michael, what happens if you don't train them and you keep them? Right? I want you here because you choose to be, not because you have to be. This is your choice because it's a partnership, and you got good partners in your partnership with Prime because they're here and committed to help you and give you value, but you want to insist, and they want you insisting on them. Now, that's distinctive value. Now, there's 3 types of distinctive value. The first type is what we call product-based distinctive value. Let's take a look. Here's the different products. And by the way, if I showed you the Forbes Fortune 500 from 25 years ago, 75% of the companies don't exist anymore. Can technology hurt you, yes or no? Yeah, what if Apple got into your business? What if Apple got into real estate? So we had BlackBerry. Some of you remember BlackBerry. 1 year, iPhone came out, displaced it. That's how fast the technology moved. Boom, killed it. Netscape, 15, 20 years ago, invented the browser, changed the world. Today, may they rest in peace, right? Apple invented the graphical interface, right? The way we do computing. Well, they kind of stole it from Xerox, and then Gates came out with Windows, another version of it, but they kept it to themselves and had very poor distribution. 90% of you have a PC. After 9/11, October of 9/11, a month later, they came out with the iPod. And the iPod, we used to buy music from Universal Music, 12 songs on a CD, 2 or 3 you liked. You had to buy the whole CD, do you remember? And now you can build your playlist one at a time or do whatever. Who should have invented the iPod and iTunes? Who should have invented it? Universal Music. And I can give you all kinds of, you go to Las Vegas, it's all Cirque du Soleil's. Polaroid, what technology killed Polaroid? Digital photography. Who should have invented digital photography? Think about it. What was a Polaroid, right? It was an instant. They got stuck in their model, all right? Don't get stuck in your model. In the States, we got lendingtree.com. I log into the information, boom, 15 minutes, I got 5 banks bidding back on my business. I don't even have to talk to anybody. 5 banks. Why don't we have lendingtree.com up here? Why don't we have it? We have firewalls to keep them out. It's like insurance, and we keep out a lot of competitors because we're not there. We'd all switch. Remember when Walmart came to Canada and Home Depot came to Canada? Those are Canadians working in there. We used to go south of the border and go, they're so friendly down here. We're that way too, but now we have all those businesses. So we have firewalls to keep them out. So we want to eat our lunch before the competition comes because they're disruptors. You need to become a disruptor in your marketplace and disrupt it on the experience. Uber, what technology, who did they displace? Who's pissed off with Uber? Taxis. Who should have invented Uber? The taxis. I can just give you Moderna. We've got Zoom, GoToMeeting, now Zoom, Moderna, Pfizer. You know, some of these people that were just no players are now huge players. So all I want to show you on technology is if you stay in the realm of transaction, you're in trouble. All right, make sure you understand what business that you're in. If I was to ask you what's your business, like, hey, what business are you in? What would you tell me? Banking. All right. Does that mean anything to me? I like the answer because it's true, right? But I don't buy banking. Let me tell you what you actually mean to me. Let me tell you what you mean to me. You made it possible so that I could raise my 7 kids in a house, and you gave me a thing called a mortgage that I could leverage, and so we weren't living in a shoebox in the middle of the street, or somewhere else. We got to have a house that was bigger than we could afford, but you helped me pay for it over time. The other thing you did, you let me invest some funds in RSPs and different things. So I put away for my kids' school education. I've had 7. 6 have gone through school. We have 1 failure to launch. He's having fun. He's down in Belize right now, just having a great time, so who's smarter? But you helped me with that. You also provided insurance products for me so that as I'm traveling, and anything happened to me, trying to create the dreams for my family, you had my back, right? See how much that's way better than banking? That's what you do, right? It's like we're number one brokerage in Winnipeg. Okay, that's cool. That's great. That's about you. How about we're number 1 in helping families get their dreams in Winnipeg? Do you see what I'm saying? We're number 1 in helping people with their real estate investments because we help our clients get to their goals and objectives. Link it to yourself. Link it back to yourself because that's what we're buying. Anyway, that's product-based TV, and all I'm saying is don't get stuck on this. I told you I sold out to a company that sold out to Blockbuster. Blockbuster, Netflix came in and revolutionized the industry. It changed it. Then we moved to service-based TV. You come out with a new service, how long before the competition has a Me Too? How long? It's almost real time. Isn't it almost real time? So what happens is you look at these service-based companies. Let's look at all the top service companies. Do you ever ask any of them for a discount? Do you ever ask them for a discount? Do you ever race on the phone up WestJet and say, there's 9 in our family. When we travel, there's 9. And now they're all partnered up. So we have Sunday dinner, there's like 17 people show up. It's a feast every time. But I phone up WestJet. Hey, there's 9 of us. What kind of deal can I do? Oh, 9, sir, that's a charter. I phone up a hotel. Hey, Fairmont, there's 9 of us. Sir, that's a convention. Any restaurant I call up, there's 9 of us. Sir, that's a banquet. 18% gratuity is going to get added to your bill. There's no deal. Go to Disneyland. Hey, there's 9 of us. What kind? Nothing. All right, but do you run into discounting? Do you run you got your Costco realtors where the people are racing down to the bottom. They want everything wholesale without all the features. In our kind of a market, yeah, that makes sense. But when times go back to normal, you're going to have to work things a little differently. But these are all top service companies. TD Bank, which is, and I'm talking TD USA, okay, USA, bought Commerce Bank. Commerce was the fastest growing bank in the United States. TD bought them, all right, all for this, not because it's the best rates. America's most convenient bank. Frank, they're open 362 days a year from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day. TD in the U.S., not in Canada. Canada, we have our own hours. And if it's cold out, let's close her up for the day. We get it. But they bought it. Who could tell me who's got the best rates? Nobody knows. Who could tell me right now, and would bet $100 they know which bank has the best mortgage rates, period. And if I picked 100 citizens off the street, could tell me. They can't, and yet we spend a fortune advertising, come right with us. We don't buy that. We buy what it does. We buy the process, all right? So the experience is where we want to put our dollars. That's service-based DV. Now, again, can't help you too much on that one today, but here's one I do want to help you with. This one can put you on the map. We live in a new economy. We started in the agricultural age. We moved to the industrial age. We evolved to the technological age. Where do we live today? What age? Information age. It's all about knowledge. Google is one of the most expensive stocks on the market. What do they sell again? What do they sell again? They enable information. So the question is, do we enable information, yes or no? Back in the day, I used to call you as my realtor, all right, because I didn't know the marketplace. Today, I calling you up, I probably know more about the area than you do. I've already looked at the house. I've already looked at the marketplace. I've already looked at those things. You're just a few mouse clicks away. So why do I need to talk to you? Why do I need to talk to you? I really don't. That's why you have the for sale by owner. Your competition isn't your competition. Your competition is me not using you at all. That's your competition. Why do I need a realtor for? We're in a hot market. People are overbidding. I'll find out what the market appraisal is. We put it up for sale. What do I need to use you for? You have to become the reason. You have to become the reason. So become the reason. It's there. So knowledge base. Let me show you how I make it work. Here's my company Summit. We market to sales organizations. You sell something, you're a business for me. The first question we ask once we've identified you as a vertical, or so realtors, is what's your stress? So let's look at the stress. If I was going to pick the stress here in Winnipeg, I'd go, well, if you're listing homes, it's good, if I was guessing. But if you're representing buyers, it sucks, right? A lot of stress there because everything's going up higher than normal, what asking price is. So that could be a stress. Maybe it's qualification rules. Maybe it's worrying about the rates going up. Maybe it's about, if I want to be certain, I could ask and I could survey my market. But here's the important part. Find out what their stress is. Second question is, what is wisdom, what knowledge, what insights can I provide that will make that stress go away? What can I provide to make it go away? So here's what we do. A couple times a month, we send out performance tips, sales tips. We do little videos. We're sending out things to our marketplace constantly, stay in front. Content, we produce content for them, right? And I get phone calls like this. Mr. Vickers, my name is Barham Engineer. I'm the president of Toshiba. Oh, hi, what can I do for you? Well, we've been getting your tips for about 8 months now, thank you. I said, oh, you're welcome. Market updates. And I said, the reason we're calling you is we're having a conference in Niagara Falls at the end of May. We would be honored if you'd come speak at it. Well, honored, what exactly does honored look like? Honored, I'm a sales guy. Honored looks like we'll fly you in for the weekend. We'll look after this, we'll look after that. I said, great, we made the arrangements. His last question to me was, by the way, what's your fee? I give him the number, he goes, that'll be no problem. Don't you hate that? Don't you hate you present the offer and go, here's the offer. Okay, we'll take it. You're like, dang it, you just left money on the table, right? I hate that. But they're calling us. So that's how I make it work. Now, why isn't the information I send out on a regular basis spam? Why isn't it spam? Not a blue pill commercial. I'm not helping to get your $30 million out of a Nairobi bank account. Last time I sent that guy any money. It's not, why isn't it spam? Why isn't the information I send out spam? It's value, it's content. It's got to be relative to your marketplace, right? It's got to be relative to your marketplace. And so that's the key to it. So here's you and here's your client, right? So here's you. Here you got the Vickers family, all right? I'm right in front of you. First question you want to ask is, hey, Vickers family, what's your stress? What's driving you crazy? Now, when you ask them, there's a trap here. They'll always answer in context to real estate. If you ask them from the finance side, they'll think you're asking about banking. Get the information because it's good feedback, but it's the wrong answer. So get the information. Oh, real estate market, we're a little frustrated. We can't, it's prices are going more. We're pre-qualified, but then the prices are too high. We can't do this. Say, well, hey, that's all about us. What's driving you crazy, period. Whatever they tell you, that becomes the stress points. Then you look at, what knowledge, what wisdom, what insights can we provide to make that go away. So I'll give you an example. Springtime rolls around. Kids come out from winter. We're wintered up here, everything. What if every springtime you went to a big ground somewhere and you had the Royal LePage Bicycle Safety Fair? And all of a sudden you brought in your partners and you brought in your banking partners and we're going to open up a bank account and $10 in your kid's account or $100 or whatever you want to do because there's a cost of acquisition, right? And then maybe we have some bike shops there to do free tune-ups on your bikes. We're not going to pay for parts. And maybe we get the local police force to come in and do some bicycle training. Kids get a nice little certificate, and maybe you got a grocer partner there, doing hot dogs or whatever you're doing for the kids. Would media pick up on something like that, yes or no? Because we care about families at Royal LePage. And I'm not telling you to do it, but these are things I would do if I was going to compete with you. Summertime rolls around. What's my stress? I got 7 kids. What am I going to do with them all summer? Right? Let alone have them in when we're dealing with COVID. What if you go to Parks and Recreation? You get all the free activities for the summer. You get, was it Melanie did all your graphics and beautiful stuff? Oh, Brittany, sorry. Brittany did a phenomenal job, but maybe Brittany now prepares the thing with all the free activities for the summer, and you send it out, and you hit a button to all your clients, and you give it to all your people you've done your mortgages for, brought to you by, all right, your partners, and there's all the free activities for the summer. Whether you're a client or not, come by one of our local offices. Fall's coming around. Let's get back to school. Maybe we had back to school promos. Christmas time, top 10 Christmas gifts for boys or girls. These are all roses. These are all things you can do in order to send a rose so that you're constantly in touch, and you have to figure out what roses can be. And I'm speaking metaphorically. So you want to send out information and knowledge. Maybe you're working with professionals, medical professionals, lawyers, engineers, people who have the higher net worth, who can afford the bigger homes. Start delivering content to them, and not just related around real estate, related to what their stress points are. And the reason it all works is there's 5 customer currencies or values, and too often we get stuck working with just one of them. We work with this one, price. Price is never the issue, or money, unless it is the issue, and when it's the issue, it's the only issue. Survey after survey, it shows up 4th, 7th, or 9th. Why'd you get your mortgage with CIBC? They gave us the best rate. That's not what they say. But if they don't do business with you, guess what they tell you? It's the rate, it's the rate. They're lying. They're lying. It's like when you break up with a guy. When you break up with a guy, you don't go, I'm breaking up with you because you're a freak and you look like the Elephant Man. You don't say that. You go, it's not you, it's me. I need to find myself, right? They never tell you the truth. Price is indefensible. So here's the question you should always ask. Is price your only criteria when selecting a mortgage? Is price your only criteria? No, but if I say, what is your criteria, or criterion, we don't say that, who says that? But if I go, what's your criteria, you go price. Bad question. Instead say, is price your only criterion when selecting a mortgage? No. Next question, what is your criterion? They'll tell you, and that's what needs to go into your proposal. Otherwise, if you keep it open, it's going to be about price. Price is never the issue unless it is, and when it is, it's the only issue. Survey, second one says time. Will people pay a premium to save time, yes or no? FedEx is one of my clients. If you want the parcel there tomorrow by 8 o'clock, tomorrow night, it's X dollars. If you want it there by mid-afternoon, it's X plus plus. And if you want it there in the morning, first thing, it's X plus plus plus. Phone up Air Canada. Tell them you want to, let's see, yeah, I want to leave in about 3 hours and fly to Toronto. They'll give you a fare, and you'll go, hey, it's just me traveling. Just me traveling. I don't want to buy the whole plane, right? What premium you're getting for time? Pre-approving your mortgage. All right, getting pre-approval. You ever run into clients who say to you, hey, you know what, I'm already pre-approved, I already know I can qualify, I don't need to go through the process. Ever run into that? And then all of a sudden they don't, or do whatever. Make it part of your process. Will we pay the premium for it? So if I do the work ahead of time, it takes the load off. You've already got the pre-approval. They're kind of locked in. You've got micro commitments from your client. You're likely to save that deal, or that deal's likely to work. Time. Third currency. This is important. Currency of prestige or status. Will we pay a premium to feel special, yes or no? I can buy a watch for $50. It tells me the date and time. I can buy a watch for $1,000, $50 of which goes to the date time function. All right, what's the other $950 go to? Why do you drive what you drive? Why do you live where you live? Why do you wear what you wear? Why do we have to come here to a nice golf course, have a nice breakfast, have a nice event? Why do we have to have contests where, why couldn't we go to a local, Elks Lodge and have the, whoever bring us some beer and pretzels, Legion folks, come in service or whatever, and we have beer and pretzels. Mike's back there going, that's actually a good idea. We're gonna do that. Why do we have trips to Cancun, all right, and gift cards for things? It's status. Why do we have top performers? It's status. Why do we have #1 brokerage in Winnipeg? It's status. All right, status is important. So people want to associate with winners, so use that, right? It's important. Currency of prestige. Coffee, Apple. Reliability. Will we pay for reliability, yes or no? Security. Will I pay a premium knowing I can lock in my points so my mortgage isn't going to go up? Will I pay a premium for that? Will I pay a premium knowing that my move-in day, that the transaction is going to be taken care of properly and you're going to look after your details? That's the currency of reliability. Viagra, $10 a pill. $10. Mike, how much you pay for your stuff? How much? No, but we pay for reliability or security, and that's why the premiums are there. When someone's doing brain surgery on your kid, you really want the cheapest surgeon, right? And here's the last currency. It's the currency of knowledge. And it eclipses them all. We live in a knowledge-based economy, so start delivering knowledge to your clients and on a regular basis. So let's say you have business clients. Once a quarter, send all your business clients, your business prospects, latest business tips and ideas. Nothing to do with real estate. When it's got nothing to do with, if anything to do with real estate, high task, you should do it. Nothing to do with real estate and everything to do with your market, high touch, now you're exceeding my expectations. So you go into the bank. I work with some of the banks, and in some of the areas that we work in, they'll come in, and if you're a business client, they'll have you a business report. Oh, Mr. Johnson, here's your business report for this month. Oh, thanks. And we give them updates, let them know what the marketplace is going with. So stay with them. If it's in the medical community, here's what's going on, and you start to work those verticals. They need to hear from you when there's no transaction in play. Let me say that again. They need to hear from you when there's no transaction in play. If I phone you up on a Friday night at 8 o'clock and I go, so what are you doing tonight? What's going through your head? Like, nice planning, buddy, right? Like, no. They want to know that you're sending nice thought, you're sending a little message, text. They want to know you're thinking about them when there is no transaction in play. Fifth currency is knowledge. And when you partner with knowledge, once again, it becomes distinctive. And it all works because of this last formula right here. And we'll finish with this. It's called the value-price relationship. Simple. You bring this much value to your relationships, the price of doing business with you at Royal LePage is huge. That's why we want to negotiate. There's not the value, we're not seeing it. When you bring this much value to your relationships, the price is not such a big deal. Is there anyone engaged to be married here? I won't embarrass you, but is there anyone engaged? Usually there's some, we're good. Stand up for a sec. Actually, come on up while you're coming up. That's good. Go, give it up for, what's your name? David. Give it up for David. Way to go, David. I'm only having you come up because we got a camera here, David, so we're good. So David, what's your fiance's name?
Mary.
What is it?
Mary.
Mary. So David and Mary. And now how long have you known Mary for?
10 years.
10 years. Lousy closer. No, I'm kidding. Now, did you propose to Mary or did Mary propose to you?
I proposed to her.
All right. And have you guys set a date yet?
Yes.
When's your date?
Next summer, July 30th.
Next summer, probably a good time. You can get the whole family out to it, right? Now, if you'd have proposed to Mary on the first date, would she have said yes or no?
No, because that would be a red flag if she said yes.
Yeah, big time. 6 months into it, would she have said yes?
No.
1 year into it?
No.
2 years into it?
Probably not.
3 years, 4 years?
Maybe, yeah.
Once the baby starts to show, you got to do something, right? And do that. No, I'm kidding. So, but 4 or 5 years into it, she decided to say yes. Is that what happened? All that happened, David, was this. The value when you first met wasn't there. She said no. The price of commitment was way too big. Over 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 years, you make deposits into the relationship bank account. The value expands dramatically. Price of a commitment is not a big deal, and you guys decide to get married next summer, right? Now, you get married, and we already talked about the point system. Say, that's the beginning of the relationship. That's not the end of the transaction. When you sell the house, that's the beginning of the relationship, not the end of it. Like, woo, transaction, we're finished, right? So now what happens, I was at a buddy's wedding about 7 years ago, and I ran into him over the summertime. I said, hey, dude, how's it going? He goes, not good. I said, what happened? She left me. I said, what happened? And he said, hey, I told her on the day I married her, honey, I love you. When it changes, I'll let you know. Wrong. She wants to know how often.
All the time.
All the time. You need to send roses, pretend whatever they are, right, metaphorically. You need to tell them you love them. You need to tell them how you feel about them because they will divorce you if you don't. What if every year on your anniversary, right, you guys have a little sit down and either one of you could terminate the contract without penalty? In other words, if she wants out, she can leave, no penalty. You want out, you can leave and no penalty. What would performance be like during the year for those renewal cycles? Good or bad? You sign an athlete to a 5-year multi-million-dollar contract, does performance go up or down? Down. It goes down until year 4, right? The last year of the contract. Treat every year as your last year of your contract. Give David a round of applause. Good job, buddy. You're good. Good job. Thanks for that. It's all about the value-price relationship. Now, I know this stuff, and I teach it, and I still screw up. So, David, I'll give you an example of this. I had a previous life, and in my previous life, she needed a new watch. So I went and bought a very expensive watch, a Rolex watch. I made payments on this thing. It was beautiful. I couldn't wait to do it. Speaking of status and image, she deserved it. I couldn't wait. Big day came, and you'll be here for a minute. I said, honey, happy birthday, happy anniversary for the next 10 years. And she peels the wrapping back and sees a little Rolex insignia and goes, it's a Rolex. I go, yes, it is. She goes, I hate Rolexes. Well, I thought you wanted a watch. She said, well, I do. I want one of those Timex Watchmen. It's got a secondhand stopwatch. I can time eggs. She goes, you look disappointed. I'm going, duh. She hands it back. She says, take it back. I got a really cool motorcycle. Right. Rolex watch, 1 point. I know this stuff. I teach this stuff, and I still screw up. Your market's got a point system. The Vickers family has a point system. You got to figure out what it is. It's different from every one of them. You got to do this on a one-to-one basis, right? And you need systems in order to make that work. I'll show you the converse of this. I'm in Vancouver, and I have the afternoon off, and I'm walking down Broadway Street, wherever it was, and what caught my attention was this big glass window. And it was a ceramic shop. You know where you do pottery and ceramics, you can make stuff? And there was music coming through the glass, and it was ceramic shop, and in the window was a woman at a pottery wheel. So I go walking by, and I stopped dead in my tracks, because there she was, and my eyes connected with hers for a minute, and it was one of those, you know those movie moments where you don't plan on it, but it was a connection moment, and I just stopped dead. Music's coming. There she is at the pottery wheel in the glass. She looked up. She smiled. I smiled back. I was just transfixed. And the wet clay was just streaming through her fingers. Anyone see the movie Ghost? I'm having this fantasy, right? And she was in her late 70s. I was lonely. And so I went in and I said, hey, can you teach me how to make something? She said, sure. We made a serving platter, a dipping bowl, $38 in parts, half a day's worth of labor, gave it to her for Mother's Day. She cried. 50 points, right? What's the moral of the story? Your market's got a point system. The citizens, the folks here in Manitoba and Winnipeg have point systems. You got to find out what it is, and you got to deliver value to them as they define the value, not as you do. What's valuable to them, and how are we going to find out what's valuable to them? You have to ask them. So I'm here to tell you, I get to work and coach some of the best in the business. I'm talking $1 million producers, like who make $1 million. They spend $1 million just in marketing. All right, I know what they do, and I'm here to tell you, practice the high touch, high task. Every 90 days, look at your marketplace and go, what am I going to do for high task? What am I going to do for high touch? High task is about us in real estate. High touch is about my market, my vertical, my farm area, wherever it is. Look at employing all 5 of those currencies: money, time, prestige, all right, your reliability and knowledge. Look at making it your value distinctive. And I'm here to tell you, you'll not only grow up that revenue ladder with leaps and bounds, like you'll move from job security and market security to self-security, which is the ultimate security. Have a great rest of the quarter. It was a pleasure talking to you guys. Thank you so much for playing. We'll see you later. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Okay.